Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely profound dialogue from our source text between two characters, Ahmed, who's a really wise, thoughtful friend, and Bilal, a curious young man who's out there searching for answers. Now, we might already be familiar with the foundational ideas of iman, or faith, but what makes this specific conversation so powerful is how it takes those familiar concepts and transforms them into a brilliant, highly structured roadmap. We're going to break down the actual mechanics of this internal compass, how it holds up under pressure, and why it matters so deeply. Our source text anchors this whole discussion in a fantastic metaphor. Bilal asks Ahmed why faith is actually important, and Ahmed hits him with this powerful image. Picture a ship out on the open ocean. When the weather is perfectly calm, sure, maybe you can just drift along. But when the inevitable storms of life hit, when things get really difficult, faith acts as that absolutely crucial navigational tool. Without that internal compass, a person can so easily become completely disoriented and lost. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by defining iman, then explore finding purpose and peace, look at its impact on character and society, discuss maintaining faith, and finally, we'll cover the ultimate reward.
All right, part 1, defining the concept of iman.
Our source text describes iman, or faith, as one of the greatest blessings possible. It's this incredible guiding light that leads individuals straight through life's darkest moments. But what does that actually mean in practice? Well, Ahmed makes it crystal clear to Bilal that this isn't just a vague feeling or a passing thought. It is a deeply rooted connection to Allah that provides profound, life-altering clarity.
And this internal compass? It's not abstract at all. It's actually built on a very specific, sturdy framework of 6 pillars of belief. We're talking about belief in Allah, the angels, the revealed books, the messengers, the day of judgment, and finally, destiny, which means accepting that absolutely everything, the good and the bad, ultimately comes from Allah. These 6 pillars are what physically construct this internal compass.
So iman is way more than just saying, hey, I believe. Bilal actually asks this exact question. Is faith more than just saying it? And Ahmed confirms that true faith is a total internal transformation. It enters the heart and literally rewires how a person thinks, how they speak, and how they behave. It's not some passive label you just wear. It's an incredibly active, transformative state of being.
Moving right along to part 2, finding purpose and peace.
Bilal points out that a lot of people today seem really confused about the actual purpose of life. And Ahmed makes this fascinating contrast. Modern society constantly pushes material success, right? Wealth, fame, endless comfort. But as Ahmed notes, you can have all of that and still feel completely empty inside. True faith, on the flip side, provides a profound, eternal purpose. It answers the biggest questions we have: where we came from, why we're here, and where we're going. It fills an emptiness that material wealth literally cannot touch.
And having that purpose translates straight into peace. Because when those inevitable storms of life hit, whether it's a massive life crisis or just a really stressful Tuesday, faith gives you incredible resilience. Ahmed explains that a believer trusts that Allah never abandons his servants. Because of that deep trust, they know there's wisdom behind every single difficulty, and that allows them to maintain patience and hope instead of just spiraling into hopelessness.
Bilal specifically asks about loss and tragedy, and Ahmed shares this really profound response. When a believer faces loss, they ground themselves with this reminder: we belong to Allah and to Him we shall return. Now, our source text is super realistic here. It makes a point to note that believers absolutely still feel genuine sadness. Faith doesn't turn you into an unfeeling robot. But this specific mindset prevents that sadness from morphing into absolute despair. It turns suffering into patient endurance, because they know divine mercy is always greater than the hardship.
Which brings us to part 3, the impact on character and society.
Ahmed asks Bilal to imagine an entire society built on the character traits that true faith produces. Think about it. When a person genuinely believes that Allah sees every single action, even when no one else is watching, it fundamentally changes how they act. That awareness naturally produces honesty, humility, and compassion. And when you scale that up to a community level, you get powerful, tangible benefits. People are actively helping the poor, respecting their neighbors, caring for their families, and fighting for justice. Faith literally builds safer, much stronger societies.
Bilal then brings up a very modern problem: young people facing intense temptations and the relentless pressures of social media.
Ahmed explains that in this kind of high-pressure environment, faith acts like an absolute shield. It helps people easily distinguish right from wrong because it completely shifts their perspective. Instead of measuring success by likes, followers, or worldly popularity, a believer measures success by what pleases Allah. It's an unbelievable tool for cutting straight through the noise of the modern world.
Okay, let's look at part 4, actions in maintaining faith.
The source text uses a brilliant metaphor here. Bilal asks if just having faith is enough, and Ahmed compares faith to a tree. Just like a healthy tree naturally produces fruit, true faith just naturally produces righteous actions. These actions, like giving to charity, helping out your community, speaking kindly, and respecting your parents, they are the visible, tangible evidence that faith is actually alive and thriving in someone's heart. Now, this highlights a super important reality. Faith fluctuates. It goes up and it goes down. Think of it kind of like physical fitness. You can't just hit the gym once and expect to stay in shape forever, right? To increase your faith, you have to deliberately engage in practices like reading the Quran, praying regularly, actively seeking knowledge, and keeping good company. Conversely, neglecting those things, committing sins, or just forgetting Allah causes that faith to drop. Keeping that compass functioning requires deliberate, ongoing effort. Finally, we've arrived at part 5, the ultimate reward. Bilal naturally asks about the ultimate reward for all of this, and Ahmed explains that the final destination is the pleasure of Allah and entry into paradise. And the source text doesn't just describe this as a pleasant place, it describes it as a reality featuring blessings that literally no eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard, and no human heart could possibly imagine. Every single sacrifice, every moment of patience during a tough storm, and every good deed is ultimately rewarded on a scale that totally defies human comprehension. As their conversation winds down, Bilal asks for some practical advice. So, to wrap up Ahmed's wisdom, here is a highly actionable, rapid-fire toolkit you can use right now to strengthen your own faith and keep your compass perfectly calibrated. Number 1. Consistently stay connected to Allah. 2. Pray sincerely. 3. Read the Quran daily. 4. Seek beneficial knowledge. And 5. Keep righteous friends around you.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought to reflect on for your own journey. As Bilal learned today, faith is so much more than just a stated belief. It is a complete way of life, a guiding light, and genuinely the greatest treasure a person can possess. So, look at your own life, look at the structured path we've outlined today, and ask yourself, when the storms of life inevitably arrive, what will guide your compass? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to take some time to reflect on these profound lessons